What's up, YouTube? It's Ebony again, and I'm back for another video. Thank you so much for tuning in. And today, as you can see from the title, this tutorial is about feed-in braids that I did on my good friend Maya. I want you guys to follow along as we go through this tutorial together. Be patient. This thing is very detailed. If you have any comments or questions, please don't hesitate to comment down below. But yeah, let's get into this tutorial. So right here, you see me sectioning off her hair. I'm going to section off from ear to ear and apart straight down the middle. And, you know, make sure you detangle the hair. It's not really necessary to put grease until after, just because you don't want it to be so slippery that you can't grip your braids. So I section everything off, and yeah, let's talk about the other parts of the tutorial. Alright, so we're going to start from the back of the head, and we're going to do a part straight across. In this tutorial, I'm going to be doing box parting. She did want triangle parting, but I think sometimes with triangle parting, I will honestly say that parting is my weakness. It is my weakness. I struggle with it. I'm parting over and over because I tend to have an eye that curves, if that makes sense. Like what I see that looks straight to me, everything is always curved. So I'm constantly going back and straightening the part out. So that's what I'm doing in this section. I'm kind of going over it a zillion times, but you know, work with me. I'm learning just as much as you. So if anybody has any recommendations about what part or what kind of comb I can use to get my parting like down and packed, because yeah, I kind of struggle with that. It's not really my strong suit, but yeah, I've been doing hair for so long that, you know, I'm working at it, but it'll get better, I'm sure. All right, so let's walk you through what you're going to do for the first braid. I'm going to slow it down so you can get the part. So first, you're going to part basically a size that you want to go throughout the hair. I tend to part a little bit bigger in the back, but not noticeably. You know, you want to kind of keep your parts just a little bit wider, but not too wide. You want to keep the braids consistent, but the part you can kind of cheat a little bit in the back because you don't want too many braids, because with feed-in braids, you can't really do like rows of cornrows to like occupy that space so it's not too full. But I do definitely part them kind of larger in the back, and I make my braids always try to make them consistent. So you can see me here. I'm parting out the section. I think I'm trying to grab a rubber band and yeah, I was trying to grab a rubber band. So yeah, work with me, girl. Okay, this hairstyle takes a long time, but we're gonna get through this together. All right, so I'm taking my edge control that I mentioned. It's in the comments. I mean, it's in my description below. What you're gonna do is you're gonna put the product on the whole section, and you're gonna make sure that that line is crisp. You're gonna make sure that you're gathering everything, and then you're gonna take an edge brush and you're gonna smooth it out. So I use the product with my finger, and then I go back and I take an edge control brush and I make it as smooth as I possibly can. So when I gather the hair, it's straight. So that's what you need to do for this part. Now this is the part where it gets a little complicated, because you're going to start off by gripping 3 pieces of strands, and you're going to do it once. You're only going to do it once. You're going to grab that one piece of hair, stick it underneath, and then you're going to continue to braid, and then you're going to stop, and then you're going to stick another piece of hair. This part is very important because if you start off with your braid not putting enough hair, it's going to be too thin at the top. So always start off with a good chunk when you start, but keep adding it all the way in the beginning. And you'll see what I'm talking about because you need it to be consistent. So just keep adding it, and take it slow when you first start because it can get frustrating, like if you can't gather all the hair at once. And the crazy thing is I've never braided with nails, but for this tutorial I actually was able to do it. So I'm so glad that I'm able to teach you these things and you're still able to get a good style. I mean, I'm not saying you could probably do it with nails, but I successfully were able to teach you this with my nails because I really didn't want to take my nails off, I'm not gonna lie. But you know, take your time when you're starting the braid. Don't rush it, especially if you're doing this on yourself. If you want to make it really nice, just take your time, put each hair in piece by piece, and everything should go smoothly after that. I think the reason why sometimes your braids tend to be not even is if you're not being consistent with the pieces of hair that you're putting into this braid. So I really need you guys to consistently put the same amount of hair and take your time. Feed-in braids are frustrating sometimes because if you don't know how to get the rhythm of the braiding part, it's hard. Okay, I still hope you're here with me following along with this tutorial. As you can see, what I mentioned before is I'm starting off slow. I'm taking each strand and I'm putting it in one by one. I'm taking my time. I stop. I add another piece of hair. And I just continue to do this all the way until I'm satisfied with the thickness of the braid that I want for her whole hairstyle. And at the end of the hair, you will add a piece to make it even, but it's not going to be as much because the root is always a little bit thinner. But you, like I said, just put love into it. Take your time. Don't rush it because if you rush it, you're not going to get good results. I mean, I've been braiding hair since I was 12 years old and I'm 29. And I still have times where if I don't put my love into it, you know, my braids aren't going to be nice. And I want her hair to be nice. So just take your time and I'm sure you'll come out with the best results. Okay guys, so remember when I was saying in the back you kind of can make them wider. In this part you can see that the bottom is a little bit wider than the top because we want to make sure that her braids aren't too heavy. So as you can see in the nape area, I made the parts a little bit wider, but the braids are still the same width, you know, and that's very important. No one's going to really see the bottom, and you can make the bottom a little bit wider. So that is me demonstrating this right here. Woo! Oh my God. When I got to this part, I was like, oh my God, we're almost done. Thank you, Lord. But we weren't done. She still had a whole front to do. It's taking so long. Okay, now that we're finally to the front, this is the section that I do part out my parts because I feel like the front is just like the star of the whole hairstyle. So I tend to line up the parting from the back to the front, but I also want to make sure that when I parted the middle part that my parts are really thin. I think that's a really important part because if the middle part is not right, the whole hairstyle, you can just literally throw it away. So please just make sure that you make this sure this part is right. So this part, I kind of started to cheat. I kind of made the parts narrower when I got closer to the middle part. I think it's really important because the hair is thicker. And so, some reason when you get to the top, it tends to not want you to part evenly, making rows. So this part I was able to cheat and make my parts actually really more narrower. That way, her front still is like the focal point of the hairstyle. This is literally me celebrating because I'm on the last braid. Oh my God, this was a total of, I think, 9 or 8 hours. No cap. But her braids look so good. Like, I was so jealous. I wish that they were my braids. But I was happy that she was patient with me and she allowed me to do this tutorial on her. So thank you, Maya.